Good morning, all. Hope you're doing well. We had very much a roller coaster last couple of days, and we had some Aussie data out that was actually a miss, but it was okay because we need lower inflation around the world. But this was a substantial decrease. It's actually quite a surprise. And what that means is that the RBA is less likely going to hike because they're going to get to their target, right? So we're going to see a little bit of Aussie softness, which we can see on our bubble. If I show you that quickly, um, Aussie here. So sentimentally weak. You suppose you could argue fundamentally weak because of that data. It's quite an important data release. We've got some Italian CPI out later, and we've got some goods balance, and then we've got a Powell speech. So that's of note. So that's going to be the risk event today, and so we've got to be careful about that. We've got some bank stress tests as well. Yeah, so that's of note, and we've got some Japanese data too. But let's focus on today, and we'll look at our QDB scores. Where are we? There you go. And this is how we stand. So we're a little bit risk off according to the QDB scores, because remember GA, EA, if that goes up, we're going to be risk off because Aussie is riskier than the pound and the euro. So these two being at the top, suggesting, indicating risk off. So that's of note, but we have to remember, we look at the indices, they look like they're going to pump. All right, so we're going to have a little bit of correlation breakdown of Aussie potentially, and how it correlates with risk and S&P and the Dow Jones. Because normally the Aussie will track it, but we had that data out last night. So this is how we stand. Note that we've got poor scores down here, which is fine, and we've got good scores up here, which is fine. You could probably argue maybe pound CAD could do a bit better, and the Euro Swiss potentially, and the Euro USD, and perhaps the CAD Swiss could perform more poorly. Okay, and no, we've got Marco's tech scores on here as well, so he's looking at technical break of structure. He's looking at the market and or technicals and technical breaks, and looking at higher highs and lower lows, and whether or not we're seeing invalidation of those particular strong levels on a large time frame. So he's given us some scores, and we can see some cross-gen. I've got some good scores, you see, for example. And so that's a new addition, which is quite cool. Let's tell you about the robot. Let me grab this. So what's happened is that we are having some gold trades, but you won't be having them. It's just a test for me as a sender. I want to test the trading stop. So you wouldn't have these gold trades, and likewise you won't have the Euro Swiss trades. Okay, and with any luck we get to our entry, and then we can test the trading stop. And so what you should have is everything below gold and Euro Swiss. So you should have, as a receiver, only have AU, NU, and that's it. So quite light on the on our for our capital. So it's nice only having 3 trades. Yesterday was okay. We had the Kiwi USD that went all right. The Euro USD and the Euro Swiss went to our stop, which wasn't all right, but that's what happens. And we had the Euro Swiss again, but for longs. So we had a big change on the Euro Swiss. So we're going to remove it now. So you won't have the Euro Swiss, and you're not going to have gold. But I just want to test the trading stop. Okay. Now let's look at the indices. I don't think we've got a Powell speech later as well. So really, we can make a technical break, a channel break. Can you see? And it coincided with that box, which is where they sold it, and then they sold it again, so we can make another box. And now the thing is, if this comes up, it might mean that Aussie comes up too, because that correlates with risk appetite. So it's going to be quite a tricky day for FX. It might be easier to trade indices. They might be a little bit less choppy. I mean, there's our sell, for example. We had the crossover, and then you're putting your stop above the high, and then you're sort of really hoping that you don't get stopped out, and then we fell a lot, right? And so obviously if you're looking for longs, we had the crossover here, So you could put your stop here, right? And then that's how you do it. That's the quasi-DB entry and exit system. Note that when we came down, we tested our punishment zone 3 times, right? And okay, so admittedly it broke here, but they did continue to go long, so we should have come down to punish them. So that's 2 boxes here. I think DAX has done the same. Punishment box, yeah. So we've got a very thin one yesterday we created. We can create one here, and what I'm going to be doing today is perhaps just taking it slightly easy because I'm worried about the Aussie, and we've got that power speech later. I will be trading, but perhaps a little bit lighter than normal. So don't forget, this is an important level. The reason for it is at multiple respects here, right? And then that's why that's an important level. And so we've got 2 boxes, quite bullish, and there's 30. I can't remember which one I've done now. Yeah. Oh, okay. No, we need to do this one, don't we? Yeah, the US 30. We drew the channel. I showed you the channel, didn't I? And then we can do the box here. And then we've got a punishment zone. Okay, so that might come into play again, but it's going to be a decent support. The reason for it is that they sold it, so a large entity has to take their side of that transaction. Likewise, when they go long, someone has to sell it. Down we came. And gold. Gold was a pickle yesterday. It was really annoying, but see, ideally, what would happen is that it just pumps to about 1932, then I could have tested the trading stop. But we had that durable goods data and we had the home sales data, and it really pushed the gold price down. The dollar strengthened, you know, and it's unfortunate we just didn't have that one tiny little bit extra pump, and we could have got that trading stop tested, and then that would have taken those gold trades out. So currently they're selling it, so we'll have to wait for the crossover first before we make the box, but you can see they're selling it there. And that's it, I suppose. Fairly quick video, and we'll just have to see how we go. Remember, we had a strong finish last week with the robot. It might have just been Monday, Tuesday chop, and we don't think it would got end of month shenanigans and a little bit of nonsense as well. It's very difficult to predict because the hedge funds are closing down positions, and obviously they've got exposure to the foreign exchange market. If they're an international company and they're closing positions down, then it's going to impact the FX rate, and that's why the end of month can be a little bit tricky. But maybe this is going to be a buy, but we want to get the crossover first, and then we'll have to wait and see. So I'm going to do a video now for gold into Discord, and we can look at the stop loss clusters for that. So I'll speak to you guys soon.